So before I start, I'd just like to thank Peter Dorn and everyone here for inviting me along today. I'd also like to acknowledge Niamh Connolly and all her team and the amazing work she has done and all the help she has been to me over the last few days. This event is a credit to everyone that's been involved, and I'm very humbled to be able to share my story with all of you. So my name is Noreen Doyle. I am Munster bred, living in Leinster, but a very keen supporter of Connacht rugby. And I'm also the mother of 4 teenage children, ranging in age from 19 to 13. In January 2007, I found myself in A&E in Crumlin with my son James. He had just turned 2, 1 month previous to that day. And after months of going in and out to our GP, being told he just had snots and sneezes, that I was fretting because I was 5 months pregnant with my 3rd child. We had a 3.5-year-old at home. But that day, I knew that there was something wrong with my son, and I wasn't taking no for an answer. And a number of hours later, James was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Our lives as we knew them completely stopped. On that day was the first day that I met Professor Owen Smith, and he and his team took over the care of my son. And very quickly, I had to learn about white blood cells, neutropenia, catheter, Hickman's, fondly known as Freddy's. And over those first few days, I also got to learn about clinical trials. I've never heard about them before. I never had a need to. And it was explained to us that no matter what protocol James was going to be randomized into, he was still going to get the best medical care. But perhaps in years to come, the learnings from his duration of treatment might actually help another child down the line, another family, to endure the situation, make it a little bit easier, a little bit more tolerable. And so began 4.5 years of treatment, a lot of ups and downs. We had a lot of holidays in St. John's Ward in Crumlin over those years. And James started his treatment. And finally, in 2012, James finished his treatment, and we left the community of St. John's Ward, hoping never to have to go back. And he is now a healthy 18-year-old boy, preparing for his leaving cert, supposedly, in a week's time. But he's much more interested in cars and pretty girls. And it would be lovely to finish the story there, but, well, there's always a but. In 2017, 10 years later, 10 years following James's first diagnosis, his younger sister, Kate, who was 6 at the time, was sent home from school one day and she wasn't feeling particularly well. And she had that horrible pale colour. She was napping a lot, and I got this horrible feeling in my gut. And I went straight back to that poor GP and said, there's something wrong, there's something wrong with her. And I wasn't leaving it go. I was bringing her straight to A&E. And I was lucky that I had Prof. Smith's number still in my phone. And I texted him and I said, you're not going to believe this, but I'm here and they're talking about blood counts again and I'm really worried. And the following morning, Prof came into us and Kate was diagnosed with exactly the same leukemia as her brother. To say that we were knocked sideways is an understatement. All I could think of was, Jesus, here we go again, another 4.5 years. My child is only 6, her first communion was coming up in a month's time. How was she going to cope? How were we going to cope? If I have a family of 4 children now. We run our own business. I was so angry, I was really not happy. But then Professor Owen Smith explained to me that 10 years ago, when we entered James into that trial, hoping that it would actually help a child down the line, that trial was going to help her, his own sister. It was going to make the difference. And suddenly, this journey became almost okay. We thought, we can do this. And so we discovered that over the 10 years between the 2 children's diagnoses, Medicine had improved so much that a lot of the toxic chemo drugs that James had to take and endure, which he stopped walking, he had lots and lots of setbacks, he had a lot of side effects from a lot of the very heavy toxic chemo, she wouldn't have to necessarily go through that. This was going to be a walk in the park as far as I was concerned when I heard that. Plus, on top of that, the duration of her treatment was cut dramatically. The prognosis for James 10 years previous was 80% plus. Now hers was going to be 90% plus. This was complete music to our ears. It gave us incredible hope. And in just over 2 years, on the 29th of May 2019, Kate finished her last chemotherapy. This is her with Professor Smith on the last day in Crumlin. And today, Kate is a healthy 13-year-old child, 14 in 1 week. She loves rugby, she loves ska, she loves horse riding, she loves fake tan, she loves boys with cute smiles, but she's a great kid. My children show without question, the importance of clinical trials. If I could, I would spend every day explaining to people how important and how they give such amazing hope to families like us. Thank you for listening.